Greetings and welcome to Project Pandora. I am Darkling and this of course is Ark Survival Evolved. Now you may notice in the background that the actual base doesn't match up with what you last saw at the end of the last episode. That is because the audio is an overlay on the last intro. I did have a screw up and lost that particular bit of video, so I'm having to go back and fix it now. Not only that, I'm also going and fixing a mistake that I made on the last video. So it's one botch job after the other getting fixed, so stick around and hopefully you'll be entertained. Okay, like I said in the intro, I'll be starting today off by making a repair job on something that I botched. I actually made the mistake of forgetting to transition from try to square. It's not a huge issue, but it can be problematic if I don't fix it now. So I'm just going to quickly shoot through and repair these before I carry on. Now there is something to note. As you can see, when you're pulling down try pieces, they don't always pull down the way you expect. Sometimes you'll pull one out and a whole section will drop out. It can't be helped, it's just one of those things about working in the try. You'll just have to get used to it. Okay, this shouldn't take too long to fix. I considered doing it off camera, but I'm trying to keep as much on camera as possible. I did lower that section of base the other day, and that's about as much as I want to do. As far as it goes, that was just repeating the same thing. This is actually repeating something completely different. So yeah, I make a lot of mistakes. People don't see them when I'm doing the big builds because I literally just go, whoops, I screwed up, and I just carry on. I don't dwell on them too much if I can help it. I usually have a good laugh about how many screw-ups I make, as I think everybody should. Okay, so no, that's the wrong spot. This should actually start to expand the base a little bit faster. As you can see, it does stick it out a little bit further. Now I'm going to lose parts doing this. Like I said, I always say, don't stress. I'm sure I'm not going to. As far as it goes, I think the mistakes are kind of what makes a build a little bit more intimate, like a little bit more personal to the person who makes it, because you look at it and go, oh, do you remember that screw up that I made there? You know, it's not all, oh, that was perfect and this is perfect. It's never like that. It's when you get down to it and go and look at it and see all the hard labor you've done, the screw ups, the frustrations that really make the build sort of much more personal. Definitely adds the character, especially when you get to the end and you can actually use the base. Unfortunately, I probably won't be using the base in this case. I don't know. I may have a play around with it once I've got it all up and running. Okay. Yeah, I'm almost all the way around already, and it's only been what, a minute or so. It is not a major. Whoops. I can do this a lot faster when I'm not talking. I've mentioned that plenty of times. It's amazing how much actually talking does slow me down. I think because I'm trying to concentrate and not screwing up multiple things at the same time. But no one's perfect, especially not me. I really hope that those of you that have actually been watching these are taking something away from this. New design ideas, new techniques, or just the renewed patience to try something bigger. That's what I would like to see. I'd like to see people go away and try something a bit bigger than they would normally do. Something more exciting. And try and get out of the comfort zone a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, I've replaced all the bits that I screwed up. So now I'm going to have to go out on the ledge and make some changes out there. Actually no, before I do that, I think I'm going to work on the inside of this. There's a couple of levels down there. I'm going to use admin fly for this particular piece. Or at least I will when I get down there. Now I'm going to use the fly and the ghost as little as possible. Actually, I think I'll put that near the slot. I do want to try and show you some of the techniques that I use for getting around builds, but for some things like this it's just not worth it. It's just easier just to put them in place. Oh great. That's the kind of screw-ups that I hate making. No, that wasn't good. Okay. Now there'll probably be an episode of just replacing glass. There is so much glass in some of these builds. Just to, sorry, when I say replacing, I mean remodeling the glass. There's so much remodeling. That is something I may actually cut out. I'm not entirely sure yet. It's a bit of a process. That saves me pulling one up. Now I'm now onto the storage level, I think it is. There's kitchen, library. Oh no, this would be crafting. Yeah, it must be crafting. And the next level is storage. Okay, I'm still going to get my design down. So I'm missing a piece of glass there. I'll just fill that in so I remember to do it next time. Okay, now this will be storage, so I will need to replace the center with just stone this time. Now I wanted the other ones to have a nice open feel, but this particular level is going to have some extra stone in it because I've got to take care of the tech elevator. This will be the first internal level that has the tech elevator in place. Well, the large dino one. I do plan to add a smaller one for going to the lower levels, but for large creatures this is going to be the first. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this turns out. I'm starting to get the excitement. I generally don't get it until my storage is in place. Once my storage is in place, I start to feel like a base is actually becoming more of a base. Okay, so the floor's finished there. That's awesome. Wow, are you overloaded or what? How on earth did I get you up here? Oh, of course I need to place that central section. Need some of those and all of those. Probably gonna need more. Now, if I remember correctly, this is the central spot. Whoops. Swung a bit far there. Never mind. Okay, so where is my central mark? Pretty sure it's across here. So I need that in place and that in place. So I'm going to do an overlaying technique to position these two in place. Should allow me to place those. And I'm just going to add some more on this side just to add some precaution in case I accidentally pull something out I shouldn't do. Nice. And I should be able to, excellent. Perfectly aligned, no worries. Now, I wonder if I could take a quets down there. No, there's no way that's going to go down on the elevator, it's way too heavy. Okay, so just double check on 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to need some more materials. This guy's too heavy to fly. How I ended up being so heavy I don't know. What don't I need? Probably plenty of those. Might take the elevator now I've got the ability to use it. It's starting to get a good look to it too. I mean, we won't see it properly until the sides are filled in, but I'm trying to get some of the main structure completed. Ceilings, draw off ceilings, and those. The walls. Now I'm going to need ramps. Take a 400. Okay. Radio, so I'm going to drop off some of these to my quets, and I'm going to take a handful of, actually I'm going to take more than a handful, some of these, and some walls just in case. Okay, so first things first, I need to be able to get below the build. So I'm going to place these down. Now, due to the way these snap, these are ideal for doing this. And I'm just going to tuck back in here. Now, there's a few ways of doing this. I'm probably going to build from the bottom, or I have to build from the bottom upwards. For the triangles, but for the ramps it's not quite like that. So I think before I do this I'm going to have to actually do a row of walls around the top. Okay, that's fine. Got my scaffold started. These aren't going to be here anymore. But I'm going to have the scaffold anyway because I need to put... Okay, yeah, that's cool. I need to put the walls below so I can snap above. That's fine. Start with that. I've already got those snapped to the lower snap point. That's snapped to the higher one. And I can pull these out already. So, like I've said before, I use a lot of scaffold, and I do recommend it as a way of getting around your builds when you're doing what I would call treacherous work, working at height. I've got the advantage of having admin commands to stop me from splatting when I hit the ground. Tech boots are amazing for this. When tech boots came out, it really changed my world. Absolutely changed it. Trick is not backing off outside, because that's always a good look. Did that snap to the top or the bottom? Whoop. Trying to take a nosedive. Okay, so I did snap to the bottom one there. Okay, that one snapped wrong. You'll get a lot faster at doing this. Like I said, when I'm not talking, my speed goes up quite a bit. Oops, I went the wrong way around. That was an idiot thing to do. It does not speed things up. That actually makes things a lot faster, a lot slower. Yeah, once I'm not paying so much attention to actually talking and trying to make sense of what I'm actually doing, things get a little bit on the faster side. I should actually do a segment sometime of me actually building as I would normally, just to give an example of what I mean. Considering I didn't have many walls on me, I'm getting through a fair bit of this. Oh, that was a great thing to do. Don't want to drag this episode out too much with having to fix things. All I need. Okay, so that went quite well. See, this is something you can't really, or you can do in vanilla, but it's a lot more costly. Because you can pick up the S+, being able to put down a scaffold and pick it back up afterwards if you want makes a huge difference. And generally I would go through and be very careful and pick up every single piece, because of the nature of this and how fast I'm trying to do everything. I have been dropping a little bit more than I normally would. Oops, I'm going to need some more tries, I think. Get away with that many for now. These scaffold pieces don't have to be in a perfect place. There's just whatever's in a place that you can use it. Oop, almost went off again. I'll be doing that a lot. It's funny, when I first started playing this game, I used to get a little bit of anxiety over working at the heights. Because, you know, it's pretty realistic. Especially when you know there's the chance of splatting when you hit the ground. There's the occasional time when I do fall off that I still get an adrenaline dump. Especially when you're not expecting it. I suppose I'm a little bit wary of heights. I don't know if I go so far as being scared. Like, one of the things I've always wanted to do is go skydiving. I think that'd be really cool. But at the same time, I think that's pretty strange to jump out of a perfectly good aeroplane. Okay. I suppose everybody has things like that on their bucket list. Jump out of a plane, swim with dolphins. Apparently that's on a lot of people's to-do list. I just like to swim with something that I know is probably more intelligent than we are. Because as much as we, as humans, think that we're the dominant being, I think we're not necessarily the smartest. Ready. Need some more tries. I just hope we aren't. I hope something else is smarter than us. I think as humans we need to be brought down a notch or two. I think we've gotten too sure of ourselves. It's the same reason I'd love to see like abilities beyond what we know, psychic abilities or aliens or anything. It doesn't matter what it is, magic, just something that reminds us that, you know, we think we know everything but we really don't. That's one of the reasons I love video games. It gives you almost that feel, just being and seeing, doing, like just getting in touch with things that are totally beyond us. Well, there you go. It took 4 episodes of this project for me to talk about aliens and space, and yep. I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. I just I'd like to see ourselves sort of humbled a little bit more. No, wrong way around. Okay, I need some more scaffold out that way. Getting a little bit far away from the project here. Feel like I should have gone a bit closer. I might rein it in a little bit. Yeah, it feels a bit better. So I need to be able to get in closer. I'm gonna need to extend this inwards a little bit more, most likely. Again, a little bit too far. Now, I'm probably just going to tear this down in one big chunk. Otherwise it'll take a while to carefully pick it all up. I go through a lot of wastage. The more I care about things like this, the less that gets built. Alrighty. I can't build that one, obviously. I gotta say, the one thing I've noticed about doing all these recordings is when I was watching other people doing it, I was thinking to myself, you know, that doesn't look all that difficult. You play some games, you talk about it. I tell you what, when you're on the other end of, I won't say the camera because I don't actually use a camera, but when you're on the other end of the recording, there's actually a lot more behind the scenes going on than you might like to think. A lot of it comes down to when you're talking. I'm still not used to talking to myself, because that, as much as I like to say I'm talking to you guys, I am, but no, you're not here. You know, I'm literally just talking to a microphone that's smack dab in front of my face and pretending that it is a person. It's been a very interesting experience. Seeing some of the guys that do it for a living and actually quite casually just drop into their persona. You actually see it in a new light once you've done it for a little while. So as of recording this, I'm about a month into my YouTube channel. So I don't know how long it'll take before this actually comes out. Awesome, that's looking great. But yeah, I'm about a month in at the moment. I just hit 37 subscribers. I think I'm 44 hours of playtime so far, which is looking pretty good. I'm getting a like every 6 views-ish. So thank you very much for those people that do watch my videos. Obviously you're watching it now, so thank you very much. It is really cool to know that there are people out there at least looking in and checking out some of the stuff that's going on. Okay, that's not going to snap like I want it, so it's going to be one of these jobs. So what I've done is I've had to put the walls in place at the top, and then I can snap a ceiling to the outside and snap the ramp into place. Now the reason I'm doing this, I'll show you. If I put one here, this might actually be different because that other ramp is there, and I put that there. If I pick this up, damn it, it's the ramp that's already here that's doing it. If there's nothing connected to the snap point up here, any ramp that's connected below will just drop off, whereas if I've actually got the walls around the outside, it'll prevent that from happening. Of course, the first time I actually try and demonstrate it, it doesn't work at all. Have some more weight. I really need to mess with the experience on here. I've got it set way too high. Okay, so nose along. I'm going to do a whole side at a time. If I do little bits, it's going to take too long. You've got to learn to work in batch building. So all of one kind of thing, and try not to have to stop too many times. Quite often I will avoid using the demo gun until I've got 2 or 3 things to pick up, unless I'm in an area where I don't think I'll be coming back again for a while. Now I'm into this build a little bit more. I'd be interested to see what you guys have to say about, you know, what I'm doing, what you like to see me doing. As I've said before, this particular build will be mostly raw, like there won't be much in the way of cutting, unless there's issues of one way or another. Do you want to see montages? Most people have told me that they don't, but you know, maybe once they've seen one, they might not want to see more. Part of me hopes that some of the people I used to watch will actually end up watching, or at least looking in on some of the videos. That'd be really humbling. I've watched a lot of the Pooping Evolved guys over the years. I'll say years, it's been a couple of years now. When I was doing some of my first builds, I was watching some of the first episodes of Pooping Evolved. I started watching it after they'd done a couple of seasons, I think. I wasn't there from the very start. To be honest, I'm not sure anybody that I know actually was. Come on. I remember the first big build I ever did. Whoops. Great. The first big build I ever did was when Slipgator had done his build in Stonehenge, that multi-layered complex, and I remember him saying something about how hard it is to build something that didn't look like a box. And after that, I sort of pledged to myself, I'm gonna get outside the box. It's really dark. I'll put it up to 4. Unfortunately, that particular build didn't break the square base mold. The first actual one that fully broke the square base mold for me was my Centimat build that Mazion did for the first 2 of it. That was the very first build that was completely unbox-like. I've actually considered doing a square build, like doing a box and taking the box and seeing if I can make it interesting. Because I'm not sure it's possible. I might do it in a small scale, who knows. Okay, so one of the reasons I like using the ramps is the way they snap. Like, as you can see, they snap end to end. Roofing tiles tend to snap side to side. Now, that isn't always the case. You can often snap you can normally snap a roof down once off a ceiling. However, ramps, because of the way they snap, you can do a couple. I can now go through and just... Oh man, this is a bit far, isn't it? No, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to... I'm going to put it in the middle there so that I can do a couple at a time. So it should be fine. Just have to be careful not to fall off the edge again. If you do build anything inspired by anything you've seen me do, send me a screenshot. I'd love... Oh, here we go again. I'd love to see what you guys take away from my builds, if anything at all. I've had a few people message me in the past with designs that they've taken away from mine, and I tell you what, there's one I actually shared it in my Discord. A couple of guys, I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but they did a really cool build, and apparently it was inspired by some of my earlier designs, and I was really happy. I actually went and did a tour of their base and had a look around and saw it in person, and funnily enough they were actually using a similar setup as this for hiding the foundation work. It wasn't nearly as far off the ground or anything like that. It was done on a smaller scale. Now, I do actually want to try a true inverted build at some point. This isn't really, but it's well on the way. Alrighty, so this is where things are going to get irritating. Now, I shouldn't be able to snap where I need to. I'm going to have to make some snap points. I'll take a bunch of those at a time. Already got some of those. Start here, it's nice and close. Now, first things first, I need to find out if I can snap right off the bottom of these. Now, you'd think after doing this for how long I have that I could automatically go, yes, this works, yes, that works. Quite a lot of the time, I still need to have another go at it just to kind of remind myself what is and isn't possible. That is not going to work. Oh, I want to do this. I can add a try in the middle and then snap off that. But first I have to anchor it, so I have to drop 2 walls down to snap the into place, or I can run a square one from inside. Making me a little bit of an overlap, but that's fine. I can live with that. Then I can snap off that. Awesome, that works for me. Ah, of course they both do it. Oh dear. If they're going to do it on any of them, it'll be these, where they're far more annoying to pick up. Okay, much better. I might have to go and do that around each of the corners. So I don't need that there so much. Put it here. Now I'm hoping this series isn't going to be too long. I'm really not sure. At this point I feel like I'm progressing as much as I expect to. Like, this will be the 4th hour of doing this, so things aren't looking too bad considering. Can I? No, not the stone wall. That. There you go. Maybe it snaps right back there too. Oh no, cool. Have that. I'm actually going to need some of these now. Okay, again, snap one into place, snap the try off that. I just have to be very careful I don't pick up anything that will drop these. Although now these are in place, I should probably be able to remove the internal scaffold if I need to. Oh, right. It's that last one there that I want. Come on, let me have it. Go. Oh. Well, how many times would I have died this episode? 3 if I'm counting correctly. Wouldn't have mattered so much. I'd have just gone and picked up my body. I'd have a bed at the bottom for sure. Okay. Well, that one went a lot smoother. How long will that last, I wonder? Alrighty. I feel like I'm making some progress now. Of course that's going to snap up there. That one probably will too. Did it? No, just one of them. Now this jump up and grab that I'm doing, I gotta say it's not often that it actually works. There'll be a few parts like this that once you've done it a few times, oh, snapping the opposite didn't work either. Once you've done it a few times and you've had to pick up things from random places, you'll notice that there's certain spots that you can look at to get the angle you need to do the pickup. There we go. And normally you get it from making mistakes. Cool, I needed some more of those. And I'm not doing it that way anymore. No, wrong one. If you have any ideas for future builds that you'd like to see me have a go at, do drop a line. I'd be interested to hear what people have to say. Some things can and can't be done. I've got a pretty good understanding of what can and can't be. If you have any thoughts, do drop me a message, because I'd be interested to see what other people come up with. I've got some thoughts as to what I think I will probably do, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm not 100% sure. I think I'll take some of this with me. Oops. Now I wish there was a rear view mirror. Give me an idea as to what part I'm standing on. Or in this case, probably an ass mirror. It's looking downwards. Whoop, that's going off. Now, I was going to just drop this off, but I really don't want to have to go down and get more materials if I can help it. I'm a bit lazy like that. You just got to know where to be lazy. Okay, now I'm going to need to... Okay, I know what I'll do. I'll put this in place, I'll put that in place. Make sure it's snapped in the right place. What I want. Definitely not that one, it's that one. Now pick up that piece, and I think we'll go skydiving again. Oh, I picked up the wrong piece. Damn it. What an idiot. Okay, let's see if I can... There you go. Oh, come on. Okay, so we've got a nice big area now. This is the crafting level, if I remember correctly. This is huge. Now, I think this is a bit bigger than I originally planned. Oh, you hear me tumbling over with the notes that I made. See, I sketched out a rough idea as to what I wanted at certain levels. So, kitchen, library, crafting, storage, breeding, storage. To be honest, I think... Is this... 1, 2... Oh no, crafting's the lower one. This must be storage here. Okay, and then there's... breeding slash storage... storage... in the top. This level should have... how many did that level below us have? That's the question. Oh good, I'm not too overburdened this time. So 1, 2, so that's crafting, that's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 8 if you include overlaps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I was going to make it 9 because of when you get off a golem, sometimes you end up in the ceiling if you're not careful. No, I think I'll be okay. Storage. I do think I'm going to have to go to the 9. I sure isn't hell not repeating this, replacing all this. So from here I'll need to extend this up. I'll do, while I've got the opportunity, I'll stick some walls in. 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, this is where things start to get a bit more challenging, because while I am going up 9, this won't actually all be wall. Some of this is actually going to be a mezzanine floor. Why a mezzanine floor? Well, what's going to happen is, as I expand the levels out, I get bigger and bigger pockets in the walls. Well, I say walls, the bits where the ramps are. Now, as you saw, I put a section in there of a square ceiling, a tri-ceiling, and then I snapped the tri-roofs to them. Now, as I expand that out, I'm going to get more and more gaps. And I'm at a point now where I will be expanding a lot more. So I think the first one was 1, second one was 2. I think this one will probably be 4. I may actually just be expanding outwards from here quite a bit. Okay, some more walls. Now I'm using the ability to snap from further away by riding a dino. Handy technique, doesn't always help. But what I'll be doing is I'll be building an internal structure and getting it to the size that I want. I will add the extra bits and pieces I need to, and then I'll cut out the sections that are too big overlays. So, and then I can use those sections. So it should be an interesting look. And up to, so this is going to go outwards from here. Are they all the right height? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 high. So I'm going to go. No, there's no point going up there. A few things going through my head while I'm trying to work this out. I think I'll just put the ceiling in place here. Now these big builds do take a fair bit of time, depending on your build speed and what you're trying to achieve, how much you have to improvise on the go. I've done a little bit of pre-planning on this, like it's mostly been talking to myself as to, you know, what am I going to have on what level, how tall does each level have to be, roughly how many levels am I going to need. I want some dino internal storage, I want storage for crafting, for breeding. it pays to go through and work out your priorities as to what you're going to be doing. Sometimes I will plan it out a little bit more than others. Others I'll just wing it the whole way through. It depends on the kind of build that I'm doing, if it's something super new or not. I'll usually practice the fundamentals of what I'm about to build before I actually go ahead and do it, just to make sure I can get the shaping and whatnot that I need. Because you'd be surprised how many times you see something in your head and say, oh, that's got to work, that's a piece of cake, and then when it actually comes down to actually putting it into place, you realize there's a couple of little factors that you didn't actually think of. Okay. Take all of those. I'm going to try yet my point getting more. I'd like to get this to the point where I've got the majority of the structure in place. Oops. That's generally what I go for. I will try and get the main outline completed, and then I'll start going through and filling in the blanks. I might be doing a little bit of both on this particular project, because I do want to get the storage level built into place a little bit sooner if I can. I just want to make sure I can take care of that so that I don't have to worry about travelling so far to pick up resources. It's not so bad when I've already loaded up the quets like I did today, which I really need to do more often. Oops. You have to fly up there. I haven't added in the tech elevators yet. I gotta say, those streamers that talk constantly non-stop in such excited voices, man, they must get such sore throats to begin with. Mine's a bit raw today. I was actually on a friend's stream today, on our Terra Nova server, new Terra Nova. Damon Whalen. If you haven't looked him up, do look him up. Nice guy, often streams with his kids, which is always a nice change. Definitely swears a lot less than I do, not that I swear on these videos. I'm trying to keep them clean. But generally when it comes to streamers, people don't worry about swearing so much. For me, it's all about context. If you join my Discord, that's all good. You can swear if you need to. Keep it in context. If you're swearing about something, that's fine, as long as you're not swearing at somebody. I have one rule on my Discord, and I don't want to have to make any more rules. My one rule is don't be a dick. And that's pretty much sums up everything. Don't annoy people, don't be racist, just don't be a dick. I don't like having lots of rules. Like, I think rules are important in a lot of respects, but too many rules confuses people, and if you can't understand don't be a dick, I think there's more problems there than anybody's going to be able to solve without a PhD. Now, where is my center? It's gonna come off. See, this is the part that I hate, is when I've lost track of where my center. It's got to be this. It's got to get filled in. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2. Okay, that is my center. Awesome. Now I don't have enough tech elevators to do all of them. Again, I'm going to add the extra snap points in. Come on, that's the one. Okay. So I'm going to need some more tech elevators to finish off that level. One, two, three. That's plenty. So now we're starting to get some structure going on. It'll look better when I filled in some of the gaps a bit more. I haven't filled them in because I don't have to just yet. I do want to fill them in to get the nice enclosed area, but I at the same time want to leave them a little bit open for when I go to do windows, because I do want to have a fairly large amount of windows. I'm mostly going to be doing the expansions first. So again, I have gotten things up to a good height. We'll be expanding outwards from here. So it'll be another row around, and I don't know if I'll be expanding out 3 or 4 on this level. The original plan was to expand out pretty much from here. I might do 2 and then expand out the levels above more exponentially. Okay, I'm out of those, that's fine. Oops, I've overlaid one. Which one was it? Looks like that one. Like I said, I don't like having too many overlapping bits. When it comes to actually filling in these rooms, because you'll get the majority of the base look, the external work first, but when it comes to actually filling them in, when you've got all these extra snap points, some of the techniques that I use, depending on what I'm actually building, you end up with too many snap points and it's a struggle to get things to place quite how you want them to. Oops. So I hope you guys have worked out the floating mountain reference that I believe I referred to in the first episode, this video. I'm still not sure what to call it. I suppose it is an episode now, it is a series. A little bit of lag there. Must be doing a server save. Because this is hosted on the computer next to me, there's a lot less lag to deal with. Ooh, what did that do? No. Sounded like it was actually giving me a could not place alert. Just realised how bright it's getting. Hopefully it's not too bright for you guys. You can actually see a lot of the bits and pieces starting to render in from around the place again. I say again, they didn't stop, but okay, so I am going to need, whoops, no, down, down, I love these tech elevators, they're fantastic. I do need to look into whether or not we can adjust the weight on them. I'm a little concerned about the weight of dinos on them. I need ceilings. Stack. That's looking good. So I'm gonna finish. Come on. There we go. I'll rearrange my hotbar and make this a bit quicker. Oops. Oh, come on, place it. Oh, I did need that. You'll see me flip through keys quite regularly. Or I mispress one because my hand's in the wrong position, and then I'll end up going through a whole bunch. It's like when your mother goes through the whole family before she actually gets to your name. Okay. Ooh. Okay, that snapped to that one. I say that snapped in a very funny position. No, it didn't. Okay, so that level there is now completed. I'll need to do the expansions underneath. Before I do that, I am going to make a change down here. Now I think it is time to no-side this. Thankfully these are all square, so it's nice and easy to do. You get that bottom one. Come on, yeah, there we go. Gotta be careful not to hit the try. If you hit a try, the positions are slightly different on their menus, so how do I explain it? If I shoot a try to take away all four sides, it won't do it. It will probably end up taking away all but one. I wanted to take it away so that you could see that we've finally got the floating look down. There we go. A bit close, I think we should come down here a bit. Actually land and approach it from the ground. There we go, we've got a nice floating structure now. So that's all for today. We're pushing up on the hour now. Might be a tad over, hopefully not too much. If you like the video, make sure you do the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and stick around, and hopefully there'll be some more videos for you to watch. Take care and enjoy yourself, and I hope to see you again.